Right, so we are live now. Um, should we tweet about it everywhere first?
Yeah, tag me in it, and I'll give it an RT for you, mate.
Live.
You see me looking over there. Chelsea game's on my computer over there.
Yeah.
So I am listening.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. That is on. I've tagged you on it.
Yeah, there we go. Just got it. Retweeted, mate.
Cheers. So to start off, how's your day been?
Yeah, well, we're just
how's your
talking
week
off
been?
air then, weren't we? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
busy this week. It's Cheltenham, innit, this week? I don't know if you're into your horse racing. A bit young to be into your horse racing, to be fair. But obviously, I work at a bookmaker's, so there's been a lot of preparation for that. I'm not actually working at the bookmakers much this week, but I still had to do a lot of preparation for it last week. I'm working at another place this week, and there's a lot of football on this week, so
Yeah.
mad busy. And of course, I've been watching Cheltenham and having a few bets as well. So, it's been busy, pretty busy.
Yeah. How's the season gone for you? What are you thinking of the season so far?
Oh, well, I don't think any of us expected to be here. Well, expected, no, I think some people maybe did expect us, but nobody wanted to be here, I think, is a fair comment. I think we've been poor. We deserve to be where we are on the balance of play, I feel. I know a lot of people have always said, like, oh, but, we've drawn so many games and stuff, and that has been the problem. Like, people try and use it as a positive, but that's been the problem. We're not finishing teams off. We're not, when we're playing well like we did against, trying to think of an example here, Arsenal away, teams like that. Chelsea, we could have nicked it. Vizeh had that chance, There's been times where we probably should have won the games, and it's just petered out into draw. Norwich at home, Watford at home. You've got all these examples. Leicester away, Southampton away. That's what an extra 2, 4, 6, 8 points there if you win all of them. So yeah, it's one of them. Disappointed with where we are, to be honest. But I feel like we kind of deserve it. We're not finishing teams off, and we're not playing well enough in certain games.
I thought at the start of the season we were playing a lot better, but then I feel like it got to a stage like halfway through the season, half the players couldn't be bothered. I mean, I spoke to you about it before. I think it was after the Brighton game, but the Leeds game, just not many players putting in, the effort. And then, I feel like we've played better against the teams that are, top six, which in a way it's good, but like we've got to play better against the teams that are below us, because then we've got to take points off them.
100%. If we'd have played like we did against Liverpool when we lost, or Arsenal at the Emirates when we drew, or Chelsea, as just mentioned, at Stamford Bridge when we drew, if we played like that against Brentford at the weekend, we'd have put them away quite easily. It's just been, going back to what you just said about the season, I feel like the season's been a lot of sort of like false promises. Like we get into these areas where we're like, oh, we're a bit shit, aren't we? Then we're like, oh, hold on, no, we're actually all right here. If we carry playing like this, we'll do all right. And then we'll just drop off again. There's so many times I've been sitting here thinking we can get out of this, and then we just put in a performance like we did against Brentford. I know some people are pointing to the chances that we had, but Jay's chance, it's a good effort, but it's not a carved out chance. There was nothing else on, so he hit it. The Cornet one was just a lump upfield, which is why we played so bad. We just kept lumping it upfield. Cornet did well to get in front of the defender, but that's not his game. He's not a one-on-one finisher. Look at Man City away, for example. They fluffed his lines there. I love him, but that's not his game. And the other one, where Westwood did actually put a decent ball in, and Dwight McNeil's 50p head were just horrendous. But they had their chances as well. But if we'd have got the ball on the deck and played like we did against Brighton and Spurs, I feel like we'd have won that game quite comfortably. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. Someone said that to me several times, saying, "Oh, you keep saying you want Jack Cork in the side. Well, hindsight's wonderful, isn't it?" Like, I don't feel like it is hindsight anymore. I feel like we've been saying it for ages now. The facts are there. Look at how we've just said. Look at how we played against Spurs and Brighton and Palace away. What's the common denominator there? Jack Cork was in the team, and I've had a lot of stick this week as well off people sort of like saying like, "Oh, why are you slagging Westy off?" I'm not necessarily slagging Westy off or saying he's done or saying he's too old. He's just clearly out of form. He's either out of form. Yeah, he's either out of form or he doesn't work with Egghorst. One of the two. It might work with Weghorst this time next year if we stay up or whatever, or we go down and Weghorst stays, which I'm not sure he will. But I just feel like if Jack Court brings a calmness to the midfield, which I have criticised him for, because sometimes he can be a little bit too slow on the ball. But I think at the minute we just need someone to get the foot on the ball and keep possession rather than just hoofing it upfield.
Yeah, I mean, Weghorst, he's obviously his size would show to people that he's more of a lump ball sort of type of player, but we've seen it from this season. I mean, he's not really one of them sort of players. He doesn't like it himself. But yeah, relegation. If we were to go down, who do you think will go?
I do think we'll go at the minute. You're only as good as your last game, aren't you? And obviously, I left Brentford at the weekend because I went on. I left the Brentford game at the weekend thinking I don't see how we're going to get out of this. I think if anyone could get out of it at the minute, it's Norwich. Not Norwich, Watford. But I feel like they're another side a bit like us. It's always a bit of false hope. Like they'll get a decent win here and there, and then they just fall off again. So I think at the minute. Yeah, I think at the minute it is the three that's down there. I think the team I worry for the most, other than those three, is Everton because of their running. But people keep saying that, and Everton fans keep saying, "Oh, I'm worried because look at our fixtures." But who are we going to win against? Like I put the fixtures up yesterday on the Turfcast page, and they're all winnable games in there. But you just don't know which Burnley's going to turn up, and that's what winds me up. Like if we play to our full potential. Again, I'm going to pinpoint the Brighton and Spurs games, and even the Palace one. If we play like we did in them, then we can win in 4 games in April. That's what, 12 points? My maths is terrible, but that's 12 points.
Yeah.
So, that 12 points is massive because we're playing Everton, Norwich, Southampton. I can't remember. Wolves as well. Like, don't get me wrong, they're decent. We've still got to play Villa twice. They're hit and miss. We could easily get 3-4 points out of that.
Yeah. I'm struggling with it. At the moment, of course, I was at the Ipswich game on Saturday whilst we was playing Brentford, and I was with my mates, and my mood throughout the whole game just changed because I knew the City was losing. And but yeah, opinions just keep changing every week. I mean, if we somehow beat City and Watford lose, then my opinions would be like, yeah, we're staying up again. Yeah, and then we'll lose to Norwich, and then it'll be like, yeah, we're going down again. Which seems to be like that throughout the whole season. Vizeh just joined. I'll add him to the stream now. Right.
Just like that. How you doing, lads?
Evening. All right.
Yeah. I saw the tweet and I was like, you know what? It's going to be like 3 weeks till the next game probably. So I feel like I just want to talk about it and then just get it out there before I probably explode with just just depression.
Yeah. How's your day been, Lou?
Oh, class. Days kind of fly by when you have a little one. And just over in Poland is I'm not surrounded by Burnley a lot, so I can kind of like relax and just imagine that I'm not a football fan, which is great sometimes, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of like that for me here, but I'm just surrounded with Norwich fans, so they're taking this when we lose.
Yeah, that can't be great.
No.
Norwich fans?
Yeah, I live in Norfolk.
Well, that's great because they're like the one team that's worse than us, so that's fine.
It's one of them though, isn't it? You just know they'll be cocky about something. You just know because we're playing so bad at the minute. You just know any other football fan is annoying me at the minute. Whether it's Norwich, even Aki Stanley probably get on my nerves because I think they had a good result last night, or it was 1-1 last time I checked. So anyone with any hope as a football fan,
it's just better off than us right now.
Yeah.
If a Norwich fan tries popping out with anything, then like. No, I'm not having Norwich. Most teams, sure, I can handle it, I can fair play, but Norwich, come on, man. No.
If they beat us, I'm not going to see the end of it for the next 5 years.
Just turn your Wi-Fi off. That's what I do.
I just won't leave my house. Yeah. Simple as that.
I know, but if you both do go down, it doesn't really matter.
True.
Yeah.
To be fair.
But they won't get that concept of that. But anyway, what's your thoughts been on the season, Liam, so far?
It's a weird one because I feel like I got some stick for this online, but I don't think we've actually been. This is gonna sound really bad, but I don't think we've been as bad as we've been in other years in terms of actual football. Yeah. It's just a case of there's not 3 worse teams than us, which we usually do have. There's not the Huddersfield, there's not the Cardiff, there's a Norwich, but there's not like there's not 3 teams worse than us in this league, which there usually is always guaranteed to be. And you know, I know the words fine margins is almost banned on Twitter for Burnley because people hear it so much. But I look back at most games and it's like we probably was a better team for the main chunk of the game, and we just had a mad 10-minute spell. Five sometimes that we just absolutely just lose our cool. You know, the first month or so of the season is what really emphasizes that point. You know, I think for the first, I want to say 7-8 games, we went 1-0 up in like 5 of them. You know, Brighton, Leeds, Everton away, you know, and it's like those are the kind of games that we get stuck in, we get a clean sheet, and then, or at least keep it down to like just 1. And that's usually what we're being so good at. And unfortunately for us, it's just not gone our way. So
it's kind of been like that. Now. We've quite dominated the game, and then as soon as we score, it's like we've just dropped off and we're just clinging on.
The main problem for me, like obviously all them games just highlighted there, every single one, we got overrun in midfield. We get a goal, then we get overrun in midfield, and it's still happening now. That's why Brentford did so well against us. Ericsson did well in midfield. But like you mentioned the Brighton game there, that's exactly what they did. We went 1-0 up and he changed it, didn't he? Potter brought on, I think it was Lallana. They went 3 in midfield and we got overrun in midfield again. So even though we have been playing well in patches, and again, you mentioned them mad 10 minutes, we never used to have them mad 10 minutes, did we? So that's like the worrying aspect of it. But yeah, I feel like the midfield has been an issue all season. It's not even, you know, everyone knows that. I think the midfield has been an issue, but we've known for a while that the midfield has been a bit of a weak area. It's not really a surprise to anybody.
For me, at the start of the season, it was like, I thought Dyche would have wanted, is trying to get rid of this, you know, Brexit Burnley sort of EDL style football.
Yeah, to be fair, I think with the way we play, I think that you can see that is the way. He's definitely been trying to do that.
He's trying to change the tactics, but in my opinion, we just don't have enough players for it. And one of the main points of this podcast is talk about our recruitment over the years and how we've ended up in this situation. Because in my opinion, I think this started around 2018 once we got in the Europa League. If you think about it,
you're spot on that.
When we was in the Europa League, we couldn't fill the bench. We had about 2 goalkeepers on the bench, and the rest were like academy sort of players. And yeah, it's nice for them to get the experience, but like it's not really going to help us in the long run. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I just think go back to the Europa League years, our stock had never been so high as what it was that summer. And to be fair to the club, they tried to make some decent signings. They brought Ben Gibson in. All right, it turned out to be a poor signing. But at the time, I was buzzing with that signing. I thought, he's a good defender. He's going to come in. He'd done well at Middlesbrough. He was on the verge of the England squad. And he just I don't know what's happened. I don't know what happened behind the scenes apart from the fact that he wasn't happy about not playing. But even when he was getting his chances, he wasn't really that good. And then after that, the previous board did stand still for a bit and didn't bring enough players in. But the summer we were in the Europa League, they tried to improve. They brought in Joe Hart as well. I know it was a free transfer, but they had to pay his old contract out and things like that and give him quite a bit of money. So they did actually try and improve. And I'm not sure if Garlic and Co thought, well, it's a few bad signings there. We need to chill out a little bit. We want to get rid of the club and sell the club, so we want to keep the balance sheet looking healthy. But then after that, for too long, we stood still in the transfer market. We didn't even necessarily get worse because we weren't selling players, but our players were getting older. Other teams around us, like your Villas and your Leeds, were coming up, splashing a lot of cash. So we were standing still while other teams were getting better. I think that's where the problem starts, them sort of years.
Yeah, people would sort of like blame on the excuse that the new training ground opened and, most of the money was spent on that. But it's a hard one. But Liam, what are your thoughts on?
Well, I mean, I think Joe's pretty spot on with most things right there. I mean, like looking back on it, we literally finished 7th in Premier League and it still kind of felt like nothing changed. And it was really, really weird because you felt like, we were into the qualifying stages of Europe, so we weren't in the actual group stages, I guess. But like you would feel like that'd be a massive turning point, and it felt like we just wasn't really bothered. I mean, even last season, we spent £900,000 in
down
an
season.
entire season as a Premier League football club. Like, mate,
Mm.
there's like League One teams that spent more than us, and the fact we even stayed up is incredible. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's one of them
don't really
examples.
know. I mean, is it the case that Burnley have we just got to come to ourselves and just kind of realize that to the outside world, outside of how we see Burnley, that most people just don't care, and most players, when they see Burnley and they compare us to any other team in the league, irrelevant of where we actually are in the league, they still just would not bother. You know, if they have, let's say, Burnley in contacts with them, and then let's say Crystal Palace, they're going Palace because
Yeah.
of London and probably the extra wages back then. And we just aren't a team which most players really want to come to, unless if we are the only team in the Premier League that is there for them. I feel like I've seen so many times in the past 5 seasons that we are linked to a player, but wait, because this other team wants them as well, it just goes completely dead. You know, any decent lad from Championship. I know, like, I think I heard like Ollie Watkins like 2 years ago, but I don't think there's anything really serious in that. But you hear it a lot of like those players that we could maybe get, but wait, Aston Villa wants them, so there's no chance. And it's like, it's just a shame, man. But it's just the reality of where we actually are in terms of, and I think that's why Alan Pace has done so. He's done so much in terms of he's really emphasized trying to change the stigma that Burnley has as a traditional quotation Brexit football club. I mean, I've spoke to him personally, you know, like when I went and did the E-Premier League, like he really is trying his best to try to break the mold of that, you know, mindset that a lot of people have on us. And if he can break that, he can maybe try to make us look like an actual exciting team to come and play football for, like the likes of Maxwell Cornets and the Wout Weghorsts, bring a few lads in like that. And suddenly, if we do somehow stay up, which I think is still possible, we could get into that later on. I still think it's more than possible. Then if we do stay up, then I think we could have a really good summer with how we are looking with our current transfer model.
Yeah, Flyover Producer just said here, all comes down to wages, which that's a massive factor of it, because if you think about it, going back to the Ollie Watkins, the Ben Ramas and that, Villa, they had arguably a worse team than us, and they were in the worst position than us, and players would go there because, you know, the boards would be more ambitious to sign them. They'll try harder to try and get them. My opinion, I feel like Gallagher sold us too late, I think, in a bad time as well, because it's obviously during lockdown, so Pace couldn't really get over. We didn't do anything last January, didn't we?
No.
I think if Pace could have got in before the start of 2020-21 season, I reckon we would have been able to build on this season and hopefully gone higher than what we are now.
I agree with that, but I was just going back to a point that Liam just made then about how you know, teams don't want to come to us because there's other clubs. But remember back in the day, obviously it's changed now. When we were in the Premier League and Leeds weren't, Villa weren't, you know, these other clubs that have come up and spent big weren't. Like, we attracted Chris Wood, we attracted Charlie Taylor. Obviously, Chris Wood and Charlie Taylor both from Leeds. The problem is these clubs have come up, and as was it Fred mentioned, they've got more money, they've got more pull because, you know, the bigger clubs, you know, let's not beat around the bush, they're both bigger clubs than us. So players there's more teams in the Premier League now where teams do want to go to these other clubs. Like, even if there was any rumour in this Ollie Watkins, it's Burnley or Villa. As Liam said, it's going to be Villa all day. So I think our problem has been, yes, we've stood still, but other teams have come up who are bigger than us with more money, like your Leeds and your Villas. So, you know, if, for example, Forest come up and we manage to stay up, that's going to be another one that, I'm not sure on their money situation, to be fair, but they're going to be a big club with more pull. And I think that has been part of our problem, and that's part of the reason why we've stood still as well. It's not just garlic, obviously, that is an aspect to it. But again, players aren't going to want to come to Burnley when Villa are interested.
I mean, I would add as well, I saw a podcast which is done by, I think, he's one of the presenters. I think you may know of it, Joe. About, I want to say like a year ago, Sean Dyche did a podcast, and it was about like...
Is it what's it called? Is it that guy?
He's a lad that he's Norwich fan, the guy that hosts the podcast.
I listened to it.
Jake Humphrey.
Yeah, what's
Humphrey,
it called, though?
yes.
It's winding me up that now. It's something like the Mind podcast or something, helpful mind or something weird like that.
It's
I listened
something
to
about,
it,
like,
and I listened
the-
to it like 6
the
weeks
mental
ago as
side.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
it's a podcast. It's about Sean Dyche, and it's like an hour long, and they do not mention football once. And it's all about the mental side of football, all about the culture of a football team, trying to like manage egos and all that kind of stuff. And like they did an hour podcast, and Sean Dyche literally did not speak about football tactics once. It was just all about the mental side of how to control personalities. And he went into his transfer models, and that it's much more than just can they kick a ball well. It's so much more about the personality, and that's why it takes us so long to get a deal done, because we aren't looking into just can you kick ball well. It's looking into the fucking Facebook posts, looking into the Instagrams, and thinking what kind of person is this guy. And I think that's a real big part of why we've struggled so hard to find the players that really fit Burnley. But the thing is, the players that we typically do bring in, they perfectly blend in with us because we try so hard to make sure it works. You know, like you say, Ben Gibson. Ben Gibson still annoys me because like he was always meant to be the Tarky replacement in the same way that Tarky was always made to be the Michael Keane replacement. We tried to do the same thing again. We brought in Tarky 6 months before Keane left. We knew that he would leave end of that year. He filled his shoes in the same way that Tarky will probably leave now, and Collins is his replacement, ready to go and replace him. So with Gibson, it's a lot of money, and the fact that's still our most expensive signing is still ridiculous to me. But that should have worked. That should have worked.
I mean, his debut was against Olympiacos when he got sent off.
Yeah, he got sent off, didn't he? I remember that.
But then I heard something in Lancashire Telegraph that there was something happening during that game with the Olympiacos owners.
Yeah, they stormed into a referee's changing room at half time, apparently. I mean, I've just seen the same reports as you. I were in the stands. But yeah, apparently they stormed into the referee's changing room at half time, kicked off because they weren't getting the decisions. And next thing you know, they're getting a penalty and a red card. But, you know, we're playing devil's advocate here.
We got
Obviously, we don't
scammed.
really know what happened.
We got scammed. Like, there's history of the owners of Olympiacos. So they've got a history of doing things like that before the past. I mean, I was there at Olympiacos, and I remember very well that second half just being completely just very
it was a harsh
skewed.
Red. It was a harsh red, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. And again, I think his next game would have been Everton at home or something like that. And then we get back 5-1 by them. But then he scores. It is hard.
He scored a goal in a game. I remember he scored a goal in a game. It must be that one. But I don't know. He was supposed to work, the Ben Gibson. I was excited when we bought him. It was a lot of money. He did well at Middlesbrough. He'd been in the England squads, you know, with the likes of Tarky and Michael Keane. Then he just came and he wasn't that good, and he's still not that good now. Did you see his defending for the Leeds goal, the winner at the weekend? The ball, it's a long ball, and it comes over to him. He tries to win a header against, I don't think it's Geldart. I don't know who it is. It was someone quite small, and he's nowhere near it. So I'm not sure what happened with Gibson. I'm not sure if, you know, something went on in his personal life or whatever, but it was meant to work and it just didn't. I don't really blame the club for getting that one wrong because it just looked like it would work, but for whatever reason, it just didn't.
I mean, last comment on Gibson, I think that he knew that he came in to be the Tarky replacement, and when Tarky didn't leave, he then kind of follows him away, threw his toys at the pen a bit, and thinking like, you know, I'm going to spend another season of my career, you know, not playing first team football, and he kind of just didn't want it. So he kind of did what he had to do to get out of the situation. So I kind of partially don't blame him. It's just the way that you do things, like training with the Middlesbrough team, like very regularly, doing posts online when you're still a contracted member of Burnley Football Club, wearing the Middlesbrough gear. There's that. I remember doing that. I remember him doing that quite regularly, and it's like there's a way to do things, and it's like,
if you want to get out, get out. Doing the Middlesbrough in his car celebrating a winner and stuff were just too far for me.
It's stuff like that that makes me appreciate players like Kevin Long a lot more than what other people would, if you know what I mean. I think Kevin Long, he's been there about 11, 12 years, and he's had about 30 games throughout them 12 years. But yeah, it is a shame because, I mean, we don't know the player that Gibson could have turned into. Hopefully Collins doesn't turn into the same. I said to a couple of my mates at college, in a way it's kind of hard to break into a defence with like a prime Ben Mee and a prime Tarkowski at the back, because if you remember, that was kind of like their prime at that time. So in a way you have got to wait for your turn, and then when you get your turn, you've got to take chances, haven't you?
Yeah, of course, and this is why Dash will do these things like make sure you're the right personality. He probably does it even more so now because he probably feels like he got it wrong with Gibson. But he knows you've got to have someone patient, especially if you're going to sit behind your Tarkies or your Ben Mees. So yeah, but I can't see Collins turning out. Like, he looks like, he spent a year on the sidelines. There's been no sort of like murmurs of him getting annoyed at the lack of games like there has been with Roberts. I think Collins will be, and we all know Tarki's leaving anyway, so he's not going to have long to wait anyway. Whereas with Gibson, it didn't turn out like that.
Yeah, Tarki, it is so hard, but I feel like he's gonna do. If we go down, he's gonna do to us what he did to Brentford when, if you remember when we played him away, and he refused to play for them against us because he wanted to join us.
Well, I mean, he's out of contract in summer, so he's going either way.
Yeah,
that's true.
So you won't even try to do that. He's, Tarki's going. Like that's like 95% confirmed almost. Like unless if something miraculous happens to sign a new contract, I doubt it. And he's been with us since 2016, start of that 15-16 season. Yeah. He's been with us for a while. Great servant to club, and I wish him the absolute best. Like, I'm not really too upset about it because even though he's a quality player, we've got Collins behind him, which I think is also not as good right now, but definitely has the qualities to be a great replacement for him. So Tarki's, I think after the Leeds game I asked a few questions thinking is his heart, is his head still in the game? And since then he's proved me wrong. I think people have find it easy to almost scapegoat him again since I think the last game or two, but it's like just enjoy him while he's still here for the next 2 months, and because I still think he's still a quality centre back.
Yeah, I said to Joe about that time, Leeds game, he just looked like he just couldn't be bothered, really. I mean, I think it's because he knew, because it was January, that would have been his chance for him to get out in a way. I mean, you see with his back pass, I think it's the Leeds' second goal. I think it was Leeds' second goal. And the same with
he did a bad pass. But the thing is, that's also why most Everton fans are kind of concerned, because the thing is that if Everton goes down, most of their team ain't staying down in Championship. So they already know that like they can play god awful now, and they know they're not playing in the Championship next season. So that's this kind of concern of like players when they are in a dogfight, is their career actually on the line? And for Burnley, the question is, for a good chunk of them, like how many players in our team, if we do go down, will leave? 5 maximum. We could talk about which ones may leave. Would Dwight McNeil leave? I think possibly, but I think there's a chance he wouldn't. If you asked me that 6 months ago, I would say definitely, but maybe not anymore. So we talk about which players would actually probably leave us if we do go down.
It's hard with
I think Tarki's. I think we all know Tarki's gone. With Dwight, it's weird. I see what you're saying with Dwight. 6 months ago, I'd have been like, he deserves to be in the Premier League. I'm not saying he doesn't now, but there's probably been, if scouts are watching him, they're going to be thinking, well, maybe he's not as good as we thought he was. So maybe he's going to have less interest. Ben Mee, I think he'd stay. I think he's loyal, so I think he's going to stay.
I think Ben Mee will.
Yeah, I think for me, stay. Nick Pope again. I think he's got a bit of loyalty in him. But I think he knows if he wants to be in the England squad, which he probably still has ambitions of, he's going to leave. I think Goodmanson's contract's up in the summer. I'm not sure on that. I might be wrong, but I can't see him stay. I can't see us renewing it now. It's been out too long.
I don't know. I feel like Goodmanson will stay if he was to go down, so he can kind of prove himself that he's the first teamer in the Championship. And to get his,
I was let go because the lad's so injury prone that you just can't
I'd let him go. Even if he wanted to stay, I'd be like, nah, you need to go.
It is a shame because he was a good player.
Yeah, especially.
I love the man to be
class.
Do you think Cornet and Vegas will both go if we go down?
I can't believe we didn't touch on them. I think Cornet will go. I'm not sure on Veghorst. You would think he'd have the interest, but he's not been here long enough, maybe. Veghorst maybe stay. Probably leading more towards stay with Veghorst, just at a guess. But with Cornet, I would expect him to go.
I heard some sort of like rumours online about some sort of like gentleman's agreement or something like that with Veghorst that if we do go down, then he will stay till January, and then they'll evaluate where we are, and if we're looking at if we're in a situation where we may go straight back up, we're like second or third, it will stay. and if we aren't, then he'll leave. But again, that could be complete BS because I mean the lad is. Imagine Vegos in Championship, he'll literally get 40 goals halfway through the year, like he'd be a better. Like I know that right now he's only scored one, but like in terms of Vegos, like in terms of just pure footballing, like intelligence, how you can use your body and like curve it around players, and you know exactly where this player is on this side of the pitch. Like my best example is like when Chris Wood, let's say a ball goes to his head, he chests it down, and then he looks. Takes about 2-3 seconds, then tries to pass it, and by the time it's too late in Premier League, Vegos one touch, boom, and he's just kind of flipped to his left hand side where Aaron London's probably making some some space down there, and that's the best way I can really compare those two. Is just that extra. He's thinking 2 stages ahead, which like Chris Wood didn't,
and he's got the work ethic a lot more than what Wood has, which in the Championship will.
For Brentford, I didn't see it as much. I said against Brighton, I felt like he wasn't on it as much.
Yeah, like I said, I've said this week on the podcast and in the column that I do, I don't think we were playing to his strengths against against Brentford. Whereas against Brighton and Spurs, we were doing. I think a lot was made this weekend about how the midfield was just lumping it up front. I think there was a lot of that.
Westwood.
Whereas, I perfectly went through the entire column as well, trying my best not to mention Westwood. Just basically saying the midfield weren't good enough. But we against Brighton and Spurs and Palace, we got the ball on the deck and we played football. And that's where Weghorst is at his best. I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. He wants to come into midfield, he wants the ball at his feet. And as you say, he gets the ball, he knows where all the players are. Then he's peeling off to Lennon and things like that. And he's bringing Dwight into the game, Lennon into the game, Brownhill into the game. Whereas when we're just getting the ball in the middle and lumping it up forward and getting Cornet to chase it down, he's not that sort of player. And Weghorst, again, he's not that sort of player. It's never going to work. And that's where we went wrong against Brighton. But to go back to the Weghorst point, and you can see he's so much more intelligent in terms of footballing terms than pretty much the entire squad. And I think sometimes we're not playing to his strengths at the minute. We need to learn to play to that man's strengths, and then we might get out of this.
Yeah, I hope so. It's hard, but I think if we get points against Norwich, Everton, and Southampton, I think we'll stay up. Personally,
I'm pretty sure Everton's got the worst away form to anyone in the league. I believe.
Yeah, they've won.
We'll change it when they beat us.
Yeah, they've got the worst. They've got 6 points, only 1 win this year.
Yeah, I mean, but typical Burnley. They'll come to us, so.
I mean, I'm convinced Norwich will beat Norwich because Norwich. I think by the time we faced them, I feel like the wind has completely gone out of their sails, and I think they kind of already residing in the fact that they may start playing a few more youth players or a few more non-loan players, just because I think they'll start preparing for next year. And that's how I feel with Norwich. I think we'll beat Norwich. In terms of Everton, I don't fully know because I still think they have quality, even though they are completely not a mess.
If you look at their players,
they still have quality.
Look at the players that they've got. Yeah, they've got Richarlison, they've got Allen, they've got Calvert-Lewin. They've got so many good players. They've got a better squad than us. Obviously, I don't think that's up for debate. It's just whether they can get playing against us. Norwich, I do think we'll beat them. I'm just a bit nervous about that one. In fact, Bradley, what's the feeling with Norwich fans? What are they feeling about that game? Have you spoken to anyone about it? Are they confident?
Not really spoke to them about that game specifically, but over the games, they've just lost hope. They would have seen a couple of weeks ago when they had beaten Everton and Southampton. No, not Southampton. They beat Wolves in the FA Cup. They would have seen this game the same way we would have seen that game. Like if basically whoever wins that is staying up. But they've just lost most of the games since then. And with us and Watford also winning a couple of our games, it's just left Norwich fans hopeless. They've got no hope.
Yeah, I think they're. I've been saying that for a while. They're dead and buried, and then they picked up a few wins, like you mentioned, and it kind of put a bit of doubt on my mind. But the form again recently has made me think that I think Norwich is dead and buried. So if we're going to, I remember last season, obviously we went to that Fulham game, didn't we? It was a little bit on the line. If we won, we sent them down. Obviously we did, but we absolutely put them to the sword. We battered them 4-0, and we need another moment like that. We need to go there and just batter them. Do what we did to Brighton. Do what we did to Fulham last year. Wolves last year. Just go there and batter them. That's what we need.
I feel like the Norwich game will be like, 15-16 when we went to Preston. We beat them. We was up, but not mathematically up. Yeah. I feel like that will be that sort of game for Norwich. Like that'll be like the sword in the chest for them.
No, I think the best examples were probably back in 14-15 when we lost 1-0 to Leicester at home, and that is what sent us down.
Yeah,
like that game was literally do or die. Like you remember that Matty Taylor took a penalty. I don't know why Taylor took that pen to this day.
Danny Ings didn't want to take it, did he? Apparently, I don't know how true that is.
I know
Danny
Ings on the pitch.
Yeah, you can see a conversation between them two, and Dan is shaking his head. I don't know if he's got an injury or whatever, but he didn't want to take it. Thankfully, I wasn't on that game. The only game I missed all season. I was at a wedding where I was the best man, but I remember watching it on my phone. And I remember just thinking, why is he taking it? And obviously they go straight to the other side and score pretty much straight away, fuming.
The thing is, I was convinced back in 18-19 that we'll go down because you I'm going to say it again, actually, but it's another Leicester game. Remember when we lost 1-0 to Leicester at home? Sorry, 2-1 to Leicester at home when they had 10 men for 80 minutes of the game. And the guy got a red card in the 10th minute, and we lost 2-1 to a West Morgan header. And that was the game, like the week before, we then beat Cardiff at home 2-0, which pretty much had us dealt that year. We always do this. Like I remember when we won the championship we came second back in 13-14, and that we lost to Leicester at home. Again, Leicester's always a dickhead team for us. I don't know why they are. And then it was also Middlesbrough. Like I think that if we beat Middlesbrough, we would have confirmed automatic promotion, and we lost at home. Then games that was Wigan. We always do this. That we always like have some sort of weird like trip that makes everyone think, okay, that's all done and dead and buried, and then we just come back to good old Burnley. So I think the form that we're in right now, or like the little mini bad patch of form with Brentford and Leicester and them lot, and the pretty bad loss to Chelsea, but we always lose bad to Chelsea, so that's nothing new to us. I feel like it's nothing disastrous because we've seen this happen so many times before.
My worry is I feel like we've been in this position like 3 times now this season. Like there was Newcastle away, like all right, we can't lose this one, lost it. Leeds away, all right, you can't lose this one, lost it. Brentford away, all right, lads, don't lose this one, last chance, lost it. I think the problem for me is that sometimes when we lose these games that we just mentioned, you come away and you think, oh, well, they weren't that bad. They just lost. Whereas now I'm coming away and thinking, well, they just didn't look up for it. And that was my worry. But I felt like the fact were back in the games I've mentioned so many times already, your Brightons, your Tottenham, your Palace. But again, against Brentford, again, it just felt like there was just something missing again, and that's my worry. But we'll go into these next few games with hopefully a bit of break. I think this break will do us good.
Yeah. That's what I was saying at college. I feel like because we played so many times over these last 3-4 weeks, I feel like players might have just lost the energy for it. Because if you think about it, they're playing a game, they're going to train next day and next day after that, and then they've probably got another game day.
But we usually do better when we play in games, very quick, quick fire games.
Yeah.
That's when we're usually at our best. That's why it can surprise me, because our team is just older than what it used to be. Maybe they can't do it the way they used to.
Of course.
When I saw it's like, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, and I thought, this is Burnley at their best because, and end of the day, we got 23 games undefeated in the championship, and that means that we're very good at playing against back-to-back. And the worst part is, most of that team is still the same team that we have now.
Exactly, yeah.
At least a good half of that chunk is like still there.
I think like quality-wise, yeah. I mean, I said this to Joe, I think it was after the Tottenham game or the Brighton game, I don't know. But it's normally around this time of the season, March, April, we're normally going to run in about 4, 5, 6 games where we just win. And then that's us, like, done for the season, basically. I think 17-18, we went through a spell during Christmas. I think it was between December and the start of March. I think we went 11 unbeaten, winless without a game. And somehow we managed to still keep up at 7th place.
Yeah, I remember that. We just went on some mad run of form. Like you say, we do need that again. And as Liam was just saying then, like, we have got a lot of games. Sorry, as Liam was saying then, that is when we are at our best. Just feel like you need to build up a bit of momentum for that to work. And at the minute, we're not doing that. I felt like we had done against the few games that I mentioned again. I'm sick of saying the names. But I feel like that momentum's kind of lost a bit now. And it's obviously we're not going to get anything against City. All right, we might get a point at most. Palace got a point the other day. But we need to build some momentum, whether it's a case of a win against Everton, and then Norwich, and then that will build the momentum, and then we can go into these games where it's just Tuesday, Saturday, and we might be able to do that. But April's obviously massive.
Yeah, I feel like I said about a couple of minutes ago, I'll say again, I feel like if we don't beat Norwich and we don't get something against Everton, I feel like that's us done.
Yeah, I think we need minimum. We need to win one of them games at the very minimum. I'd like 4 points, just so none of them win a game.
And my scare at the moment is that Everton have got games in hand on us as well. I think they've played 25 games.
Yeah, obviously by the time we come to play them, that'll probably be different. They're on 26, we're on 27 in terms of games played. So they've got 2 games in hand on us. By the time we come to play them, I saw somewhere the other day that by the time we come to play against Man City, we could be 10 points adrift. Of course, that's if the teams around us win all the games, which is probably unlikely, to be fair.
That's so scary.
Exactly. That's if we're cut adrift by the time we come to play Norwich or City, then I don't see how the lads are going to get up for it. You look at a league table, you'll be so deflated. Obviously, as fans, we feel the same. So we'll look at that league table and we'll be like, wow, we're dead. And surely they'll do the same thing.
Yeah, it's a shame because even like teams above us, Leeds, Brentford, even Newcastle, it's hard because, like I said, these 2-3 wins can pull you adrift from it. I mean, you look at Newcastle, they've gone on a little bit of form, and now they're only a couple points off mid-table.
Exactly,
I remember earlier in the season, everyone was saying Burnley versus Newcastle last day is the season, best game in the Premier League, and now,
now it's it's actually worked out all right for us. That if we'd have needed to win to stay up with the squad that they have now, I don't think we'd have won. But they're not going to be up for it now. They're just not going to be arsed.
I don't even think we would have won with the team that they had before, because I feel like with Newcastle fans, I feel like they would have been able to get on their team and create more momentum for them, more than what we would be able to for our team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's hard.
But yeah, I'm thinking that one now. They're not going to be up for it. But yeah, there's winnable games in April. There's winnable. We've still got to play Villa twice yet. It's looking like we're going to play Villa twice in May. We might have been playing Thursday and Sunday again. It'd be mad. But like I said, they're unpredictable. Norwich is winnable. Newcastle's winnable. Southampton's winnable. Wolves, they're a decent side, but we've beaten them before. They're a decent side last season. We stuffed them 4-0 at their place. Yeah. So
and we still got to play Watford as well away.
Watford, yeah, exactly. That's winnable.
Yeah, I'll hope to be at that game. But yeah, I think I'm just lost for words. Really, I'm trying to think too much about it. But no, I feel like as well with the Watford game, I feel like if we beat them and we can somehow get out of it, I feel like the same as Norwich, that'll be done for them without it being done for them. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think we do need to deal these blows. We need to go to these grounds. And I'm just watching the boxing promo now at half time at Chelsea game, so it's giving me like a boxing mentality. But we need to just give them that knockout blow, just kill them, put them on the canvas, and then we'll go into the next fight, and then we'll just keep climbing into the up the tables. But yeah, they're massive. So
I saw a stat from Phil Bird, and it's like, I think this was like last season, our record against teams below, I think it's 13th. Since we'd been in the Prem, it was so good. I think we had only lost like 10 of them games, and we've won like 50 of them. And now it's hard because like I said at the start of the cast, we sort of switched that around. We ain't playing good against the teams that we can beat.
We used to be so good at home against anyone outside the top 6, like the big 6, should I say? Yeah. And that worked. Phil Bird used to tweet it all the time. He doesn't so much now. Like you said, he's gone more towards like the bottom half. But it used to be like we just wouldn't lose against teams at home. Like maybe once or twice a season, but we wouldn't lose to teams at home who weren't in the top 6. We'd always put them to the sword.
Yeah, I mean,
like you said, it's been different this season.
I remember the season, I think it was 2016-17. I think the only team outside the top 6 to beat us was, I don't even know, I think it was Crystal Palace. We beat them 3-2. I don't know, I feel like Swansea, I feel like that was the only team we lost to at home outside the top 6, and I think they went down that season. No, that was the season.
I remember West Brom, exactly the same scenario. West Brom. I remember the first game of the season, We beat Chelsea at home,
Yeah.
away, obviously. Then the second game after that was West Brom at home. We got beat by them 1-0. Then they went down that season. But then that would be so rare. But yeah, like you said, it's one of them scenarios this season. We're just not doing that. We are losing those games.
Yeah, and I feel like I'll just bring it back to our transfers over the last few seasons where we haven't been bringing players in that can sort of like, we've got the players that can do it dirty, like fight for us. But then I feel like when we've been at our top, we haven't had them sort of players that can keep us there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the quality hasn't really stayed with our positioning. No. I don't know fully.
But no, I agree. I've just sort of like, I was just thinking then about the transfers we've made recently. They are better and they are quality sort of players. All right, Corney's coming for a bit of criticism recently because he's been poor on form, but you know he's got it in him. You know, he's obviously a decent player. I'm thinking that, you know, these players might be the sort of players that will keep us there, but we can't get there anymore. That's the thing. We've lost the other side of it. We've lost the fight. It feels like we have. The midfield, like I've said it earlier, just after Liam just got on, I just don't think the midfield's been good enough for a while. And I think this season it's just been getting found out game after game after game. And it was the same against Brentford.
Yeah, I feel like these sort of signs like Cornet, Vegas, all these European sort of signings, feel like we should have made them when we was in the Europa League, when we had that sort of what's the word? Oh, I can't remember the word, but when it had the sort of feeling that we'd be able to keep pushing around that sort of place in the table, we'd be able to sort of keep there for like the next 5 years or something. But no, I think obviously after the Europa League 18-19, like we said, we signed 2 quality players in Joe Hart, Ben Gibson, and then I think it was in January. Who did we sign that January?
Was it Brownell? No, that was Brownell a year after. I can't remember.
Crouchy.
To be honest with you, mate.
Crouchy.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Point proven.
I think he was actually the only sign we made, and we lost Sam Vokes, which is another thing I'll bring on to. I feel like we've lost players without replacing them. Really, if you think about it, we lost Brady. We didn't replace him there. And same with Jeff Hendrick, we didn't replace him there. Both them players, you could see that the quality was, losing itself in the team. But again, I feel like in times and situations like these, where we haven't really been able to fill out a full bench or anything like that,
like would have been. The squad has just got thinner and thinner and thinner to the point now where it's at breaking point. And the midfield isn't good enough. And even though, like you say, Hendrick and Brady, the quality had gone, but, at least it was someone to go in. Like, say, like now we've got all these games coming up. We could have stuck Hendrick in the field against City and just said, all right, Jack, you could all West there. You play it next game. You're going to put saving you for a big game. Or just bring him off the bench at 60 minutes. And that obviously in turn helps the squad. It's the same with Brady and helping out Dwight, for example, on the wing. But we just don't have that luxury anymore because you've got nobody on the bench. And we've dug out Sean Dyche for ages, saying his subs aren't good enough. His subs are always late and things like that. But at least he would have had the option, and he doesn't have that option anymore. And
again, that'll bring me back to the point of again, I feel like Mike Garlett sold us too late. To Alan Pace. It's again, I feel like if this season is like do or die, I feel like if we stay up, in a way, I can see us sort of pushing 12th next season if we can get these signings that we want in. And if we do go down, I don't think we'll get automatics. I think
I don't know. I can see arguments for both. I think if Pacey carries on doing what he's doing in terms of the good recruitment, then he can come in. Remember last time we went down, didn't we? We lost Ings, we lost Trippier.
Yeah.
But then we went and signed. We then signed Andre Gray, who was a leading goal scorer. And then we did some really good recruitment. That was under Garlic. So I'm thinking that maybe Pacey will come in, and then we might be able to do some decent signings with him. And and I still, even though I criticised Dash in my column this week, I still would want him to be the guy.
Yeah.
even if we went down. Because look at our record in the Championship the last 2 years. We lost 10 games over the course of the 2 years. Went 23 games undefeated in the second year.
So that's 10 losses in 92 games.
Exactly, it's mental.
Yeah.
That just shows how good he is in that league. So I'd still want him in that league, but he needs to be backed, and he's going to need. I know. I was just saying that I think Ben Mee will stay, and even if we go down, I think Ben Mee will stay. But I think more players will leave. Obviously, if we went down, than what we would if we'd stay up. So there would be a bigger rebuilding job because there's so many people out of contract this year that even if we stay up, we've got a big rebuilding job next year anyway. And then there's the players who are still on the contract that will want to leave if we go down. So then we still have a massive rebuilding job. So it might be a couple of years until because it might take a year of consolidation and then kick on. Similar to what West Brom have had to end up doing this year.
Same with again Norwich. I mean, when they went down, I think it was in 15-16. That took them another 3-4 years to get back up. I mean, they were languishing mid-table in the Championship during that time as well. They brought in Maddison, they brought in Pookie, and with Norwich, they've brought in nobodies. No disrespect, and they've sort of made them into people, and they've sort of made them into a system where they can all play. And
that's where I feel Dash has sort of like gone wrong recently since Weghorst has come in. I think he's brought him in, and he's just stuck with the same system and the same style of play, and it doesn't work for him. I mean, he's paid 125 grand a week to make these decisions. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I don't earn that in 10 years. Well, I probably would. But he's obviously knows what he's doing. I just think he's over analysing it. I don't know. It's because he obviously knows what he's doing. So I'm not going to sit here and say he's getting it wrong because he's just thick or something like that, and I know more than him. Obviously, that isn't the case.
But
it's just weird how he's still playing the same way as though Chris Wood's up top when we've got a completely different striker up there. I don't get it.
Because I feel like because we've been in this sort of situation twice before, last season and 18-19. I feel like, I don't know, in them two sort of seasons, again, I feel like we were trying to change something. Dyche then at the sort of breaking point, he went back to basics, and then we just started winning games again. But I feel like
exactly, and I feel like now we're in that position. But and he's gonna. We keep trying to change the style of play. We keep trying to do something different, and then it's just all right. Then back to basics. It's so we're just going to be in this position again.
I think the transfer windows, especially in January, with Orsic and was it Fofana?
I think obviously Orsic were the one. Fofana, I'm not sure how much they were actually in that. But Orsic, him dropping out the way he did. I think I'm not going to say it could definitely be okay, but it was gut wrenching, and it just shows the type of players that we are linked with now. So even if we do go down, I do think we'll be linked with a better caliber player than what we would have done if Pace weren't here.
And that's the thing. I feel like if we can stay up, I feel like players around that sort of level, if we can attract them in, I feel like again we can sort of start pushing up again, like what we did around 12th mid-table, sort of like that. I hope that happens. But we've already discussed this. How many players is it that's out contract this summer? I think
I'm not sure. It's a lot. I've been using my laptop next to me to try and sort of like quickly research stuff when you were talking about them. The battery's just died, so it's gone now. But there's a lot. Obviously, there's Ben Mee, Tarke, Goodmanson, I believe. There's a few others as well off the top of my head. I feel like too as well. So I mean, there's such a big job on his hands. It's quite similar to what Palace ended up last season because they had so many players out of contract. They've actually done all right. A lot of people were predicting them to do not very well, but they've done really well, haven't they?
I like what Palace have done. Really, I mean, in a way, I feel like teams like Palace have done something like what Villa's done as well. Villa ended up like that as well. Remember, I think when they came up, I think they had like Tammy Abraham, and they had quite a lot of other players on loan, and they had to sell them off, and they then ended up in a better situation than what they were in.
I think it's out Palace because they changed the manager, so they didn't have the same. I'm not suggesting that we do, but they didn't have the sort of like the same sort of thinking and the same sort of ideologies going into these new players. So then they've ended up playing completely differently, and it looks like a completely different side. Whereas I think if they'd have kept with Roy, he'd have brought in the same style of players and playing the same way. It wouldn't look much different. But Palace have just gone from strength to strength. And I tell you what's done them so well is Conor Gallagher. That guy is sensational.
Yeah.
He will play for England and play for England very many times. He's brilliant. And obviously Chelsea at the minute can't buy any players and stuff, so he's going to be pivotal going back to Chelsea next year.
Yeah, it's one of them like loan signings, like Tammy Abraham was to Villa. I don't know, would they struggle without Gallagher?
I don't think they struggle in terms of like relegation. I don't think we're doing anywhere near as well as what they have done. Like I don't know if you watched the game against City at the weekend, but he were class again.
Yeah.
Sorry, not at the weekend, on Monday. He was class again. Everything he does in the middle, everything they do in the middle goes through him. Like he breaks the play down, and he's like a brilliant version of sort of like Josh Brown, who like just sort of like 10 times better. He does the same sort of job, and then he'll drive forward with the ball. He's just really, really good.
I saw Palace play Norwich at Carroll Road, and you just see everything going through him, and how sharp he is on the ball. He's got touch up, and he's already got his pass away, and he's already gone with the rest of the team up the field.
He's a very good player.
They've got a good academy as well, haven't they? Palace. I feel like with their new manager, they've sort of brought in a new sort of vibe about Palace.
Well, he's obviously a winner, innit? Like, we used to watch him in early 2000s and that. He's quite a similar sort of like. He's obviously a midfielder. So obviously it's been good for Gallagher to go there and learn under him. But yeah, he's just got that mentality. And you know what? I'm saying this now. I even didn't think that he'd do that well there because I think he's been in the French league and in the MLS. In both places he didn't do that well.
I think it was Nice or Monaco.
I think you might be right. When Nice does ring a bell, I might be wrong, but Nice rings a bell. But yeah, he's just come in and seems to have demanded that respect, like I said, because he's got that winner's mentality. It feels like, but we're in a very similar position to what they were last season. We all out of contract players.
Yeah, they've got a good defender, and they Tyreek Mitchell.
He's good.
I got his shirt at the Norwich game.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you get one of them signs? Can I have your shirt?
No, I actually didn't, because I was sat two seats behind the Norwich bench, and because that's where the tunnel is as well. I was like, Tyrese, can you give us your shirt? He's like, yeah, I'll come back and give it to you. And he did. You've got a fan on here, Matt Lockhart. He wants you to give him a dance.
Matty, lad, I'm not dancing. I said, I don't know if Matt, I nearly did it then. I didn't went like that. But I remember once I was on the Fans Bet PL show, and I said to them, because they were all, I said, you can follow me on TikTok and I'll do my wrap up. They went, oh, bloody hell, do you do dancing on TikTok? I said, no, but I'll tell you what, if Burnley stay up, I'll do a dance on TikTok. So there you go, Matt. If you don't follow Turfcast on TikTok already, follow us and you can see me dancing.
He's not confident we're down low. I've seen a lot of things on Twitter as well saying if we beat Norwich, like people put a Blackburn shirt on.
Oh yeah, fuck that. I'd rather. I think I saw you tweet something like you'd.
Yeah, I did.
I don't mind people repping as like people call it someone, but honestly, I wouldn't be seen dead in the Blackburn shirt. And
yeah, no.
You know them two lads that raise all that money for sort of like is it that Pendle Hospice or something to do with sort of like cancer research.
Oh yeah.
Like the Burnley fans, the young Burnley fans, Freddie and Hugh, little legends. But fair play to them for what they're doing. But they went to Blackburn last night, and there's a video of them running up. They were parking Blackburn shirts, and if I were his dad, I'd have been like, get that fucking shit off. You're not wearing that. You can wear like I don't know, just a blue top to make it look like it's Blackburn or something and run up.
It's no, you just put a jacket on like.
Yeah,
most Blackburn fans are doing.
I can't believe. Yeah, exactly. It's like if say for example, obviously I'm a Burnley fan. Say for example, if there were two young Blackburn fans who had raised loads of money for cancer, one of them had it, survived, they were doing so much around the country. If they came to Burnley and they were doing runs up and down the pitch, I won't be like, why is he not wearing a Burnley shirt, the little bastard? You don't need to wear a Blackburn shirt. But I'm not going to say I'll wear a Blackburn shirt or I don't even want to rep anybody. To be honest, I can't stand them.
Yeah.
I might do a little dance or something. I don't know if Matt's still there.
I said that I'd rep. I think it was the title win.
Is that? Did you put that one?
Yeah, that was me. I put that one.
I saw someone say Bradley Dack. I saw someone say Diaz. I'm saying I'm not writing anything to do with this. No fucking chance.
We had a conversation in one of the Instagram Burnley chats, and they were saying, I think it's someone in the Burnley FC women's team. They reposted the Blackburn win last night, and someone said that like, they couldn't do that if.
You know what? Then, I couldn't do it.
We were saying though. I mean, it's not really like she's probably not a Burnley fan, but she's playing for Burnley. Yeah, and I said, in a way, like it's just it's a career, and people were saying if to start a career, would you sign for Blackburn? And I said,
I had this debate when I was younger. Like, obviously, you always do because obviously you still have ambitions of making it. Like, if someone came up to me when I was 14 and said, "You want to play for Blackburn Rovers Academy?" Of course, I fucking would. But I don't know.
Yeah. And then I'd leave at the first transfer.
Yeah. As a fan, you can't do it. And obviously, it's getting a bit late now, so I'm going to go in a little bit. So I'll just give you one more sort of like story. Like, you know Simon, don't you? The hairdresser friend who comes on Turfcast. He's recently started doing some Blackburn Rovers play there, right? And it fucking annoys me. I give him so much shit for it. He rang me up the other day and he's like, I'm going to post this picture of so-and-so scoring because it's my haircut. I'm like, you can't do that. He's like, no, but it's my career, though. I need to do it for Matrix and L'Oreal and these hair brands. I'm like, fuck Matrix and L'Oreal. Like, just put a picture up of him with in your seat. You don't have to put a picture of a Blackburn shirt scoring. But he did, and I was fuming.
I think I'm not really too annoyed about that one. I'm more bothered about him going to Newcastle to do Chris Wood hair.
Oh, yeah.
After he signed.
He offered me to go up as well at one point. He's like, "Do you want to come up with me? I need an hand because obviously he's disabled, isn't he?" So he's like, "I need someone to carry all my stuff around for me." I'm like, "I'm not going. No fucking way." Like, I'm not one of them that's bitter and stuff, but there's the way that Wood left to go to a relegation rival, and now he's taking all these pictures and celebrating with him uptown.
Yeah. I don't know who said it, but when players leave, it's like they've got to leave in a respectable manner. Like when Michael Keane left, he spoke quite highly about us. But I don't think we've really had a player since that spoke highly about us whilst he's been at us.
No, I think obviously Joey Barton did, but I think that's before Keane. Who else has left recently? Ings, he couldn't wait. He was clapping fucking Liverpool fans as they were coming off of Burnley. He didn't give a shit. Trippier did, but Trippier's the same year as Keane, I think, or a little bit. No, it's a bit before.
No, it is the same year as Ings.
Is it the same year? Oh, it's the same year. You're right. Yeah. But then he said all this stuff, and then he just fucking goes to Newcastle. Like, well, obviously you didn't mean all that, then did you pillow? But yeah, you're right. Innit? It's just a career to these boys, you know. None of them are from Burnley. None of them really give that much of a shit, really. After they've left. But yeah, it is what it is.
But, I mean, at the same time, though, Trippier wants to come back into Burnley in some sort of way, either if that's a coach or a player.
Yeah, I hope he does, and I hope he says, "I'm sorry, I've never done it."
Yeah, some weird transfer before the Newcastle game, and he scores against them. That would be seen as one.
Yeah. Scores an own goal on last day of the season if he comes back.
Yeah, he's out for the season, isn't he now?
Yeah, I believe so. To be fair, yeah.
But yeah, so 11 games left. How many points do you reckon we're getting out of that?
So what is it we can possibly get? 33?
Yeah.
Obviously, you can write City off.
Yeah, that's a guarantee already.
Yeah, write that one off. Then you've got, I'm going for a win. I'm going for a draw home to Everton. A win at Norwich.
Yeah.
A win down at Watford.
Have we got them straight after?
No, I'm just trying to think of the game.
Oh,
I think Watford's towards the end of April. I'm using my phone and the laptop.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think we'll beat Villa in one of the games, but lose in another. So I'm not even working this out in my head. So I don't know where I'm getting these wins from in my head, though, by the way. Like, we've won 3 games all season,
Yeah.
And I thought, we'll beat them. I don't know. I'm hoping. So if there's 33 available, and we're on, 20 odd now? I can't remember.
Matt just said, Joe, a win at Norwich and Watford, give me whatever you're on.
To be fair, I agree to him. Like, I was saying it in my head, like, because you think, oh yeah, we'll beat them, and then you're thinking in your head, well, no, we can't beat Brentford, we can't beat Leeds, we can't beat fucking Newcastle. Give them their like when they were shit, by the way. Obviously now it's a
That
different
was our
story.
first
But
one
this
of
is
the
when they were
season
shit.
as well.
Exactly, yeah. But I don't know. I feel like something needs to turn, and if we get a win at Norwich or against Everton, then I feel like we can build some momentum. But we need to put Jack Cork in the middle with Brownhill.
I feel like it'll either be Everton or Norwich. That'll be the turning point. Hopefully.
Yeah, we can't lose any of them. Even if we win one, I don't want to lose any of them because you're giving points away to a relegation rival. I'd rather draw two than lose one of them, as weird as that sounds, and then maybe push on against some of the other sides. But we need to start picking up points, and we need to start picking up points big time. So, I don't know. Let's say we write City off, and then maybe 30 points.
We've still got to play West Ham and Tottenham away. West Ham, I feel like we'll lose that because, I mean...
we'll lose
and Tottenham, I feel like we'll lose to them as well. I don't fully know because I think Tottenham's second last game of the season. I feel like their season could be done by then.
Yeah, probably.
But with West Ham,
obviously qualifying for Champions League.
But I feel like with West Ham, because it's before them, and they're still in the shout for top four, and then they still have a chance of also slipping out of top seven.
Yeah,
I feel like they'll probably beat us, probably like 2-3-0.
I'm hoping, and I'll say this, so I'll give you my logic, but I'm hoping Southampton beat City this weekend, because if Southampton are playing us around the time when they've got a FA Cup semi-final or potentially a final to think about, then they'll put the kids out, or they won't be interested, and we could easily win that game. So I'm going to predict, I don't think they'll beat City this weekend, but I'm going to predict a win against Southampton, because even if they lose against City, that is their season at the minute. They can't do anything, Southampton. They can't really finish in the Europa League places. They can't go down. So I think they'll just be on the beach. So I think we'll get a win at home against Southampton. I do think we'll beat Norwich. I just think they pull out Norwich. I know we could beat them. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. You live in a town, man. I work in Leeds, to be fair, but there's not many Leeds fans. There's not many Leeds fans in my office. But yeah. I'm glad I live in Burnley for the sense that I'm always surrounded by Burnley fans. But at the minute, that's hard work because they're all just as depressed as I am.
Yeah. So do you think we'll stay up then?
Right now, no. But ask me again. I'd say the same as what I said to Sky Sports and Premier League Productions of the week. They were like, "Do you think you'll stay up?" I'm like, "Ask me after the Brentford game. if we beat Brentford, then maybe. If not, then we're going down." But yeah, ask me again after the Watford and Everton games. Sorry, the Norwich and Everton games, and I'll give you another answer. What about you? Because I need to get going in a minute.
Yeah, it's like that one, like what you just said before the Ipswich game. I was walking into Portman Road, and I said to my mate, "Wake up, absolute batter Brentford today." Like, and then at full time, I'm like, "Oh no, we're done." But then at the same time, we're also in the same position as we was before the game, points-wise.
Yeah.
But
the thing that I know you've been obviously at the weekend with the Leeds victory.
Yeah. I said this to my mate. It's like every time I feel like we're going to lose, we win.
Yeah.
And
fingers crossed we can win against City.
If I just said we're going to lose every game of the season, and then we win all of them. So, I mean,
fingers crossed.
Should we cut it up there?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. But yeah, cheers for having me on, mate.
That's all right. And we'll do another one of these soon. So go subscribe to Turfcast YouTube channel. Go follow all the socials. They're on everything, aren't you?
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, obviously, even TikTok, like I said before. Don't really use TikTok anymore, though. To be fair,
it's like staging it really.
Yeah, I'd say there's obviously the lads at Talk BFC, which I know you help out with. But there's just so many of you, so there's always like somebody doing something, and I'm like, it's just me. There's just literally just me. Like Simon comes on the shows, but there's literally just me. So it's like I'm either caning Instagram, or Twitter, or Facebook. I can't do all of them at once.
Matt said, TikTok, you will when you're dancing. That's the same with me with my Premier Clarets. It's hard because I run the Talk BFC. I run Lower Stuff's Instagram.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and I run my own. So at the moment, it's quite congested, and especially when you go to stadiums.
Yeah,
And there's no service.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't tweet anything at Brentford apart from just me whinging because, to be fair, I was quite pissed as well. But then at full time, I'm in a bad mood. I'm already getting shit off people because I thought this one's on dash list and people will give me shit. And then reception was shit. My battery was low. I was like, I can't be else tweeting. But yeah, I know how you feel because, like I said, I've got a little boy. I've got a dog who's only 12 weeks old and shits everywhere. I have 2 jobs, so it's paid it off. But yeah, it's been good chatting, mate. I've enjoyed it.
All right, thank you for coming on, and we'll speak soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we'll see you later. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you, Vizeh, as well, for coming on. I know he's not on here; he had to go early because of something that happened with his internet. But yeah, thank you for people watching, and yeah, we'll do another one of these soon. Go subscribe to Vizeh, go follow him on his socials as well. So yeah, we will see you later.